You found Michigan's retirement coach, Mike Douglas.
Quick recap, because I can't remember the last time we did just an overall summarization of the life that is Kimberly and Mike Douglas. You and your wife, Kimberly, you have 4 children from the age of 15 to 9?
14, 13, 11, and 9.
And you own a business. And your wife homeschools all the kids. And you guys are very active church members. Are you still in the music and the band for your church?
Yep. My wife and I both do music at the church. Yep.
Sure. Why not? It's controlled chaos.
And I coach Caleb's football team, and we watch Zachary's football team, and I coach Gavin's basketball team.
Now, what I need you to do is to start teaching Emmy's tap dance class.
So here you go. Listeners, you're getting a real vulnerable moment.
Okay.
When I was 4 years old, I took 1 year of tap because my mom dropped my sister and I both off at tap dance. I did it, and about a week into the class, I had an accident, and not tap dancing, but outside, and I fell and broke my arm.
Oh, no.
And so I spent the next 8 weeks with a cast on, a full arm cast, learning my dance routine. And then when the recital came, it was the day after my cast came off, and I did the entire routine with my right arm at a 90-degree angle because I had been used to having a cast. So all the hand stuff I did with one hand.
Yeah.
And my right arm just sat there at a 90-degree angle like it still had a cast on it.
Is there any film footage of this, any photo or video footage of this anywhere?
It is deep in the vault.
As my birthday's coming up in a few weeks. Please, as my birthday gift, can you give me that?
Oh, man. It is deep in the vault.
Talking about parenting and what it is to educate and float a family. You would think in the digital age of technology, things should be getting easier for parents. I believe it's only getting more and more complicated thanks to technology. And the reinvention, let's take something that's not broken and fix it. Mm-hmm. I don't know if your wife, Kimberly, again, homeschools, is she teaching the new math curriculum to your kids? Is that creeped its way in?
It's very modern math. But we've not gone to Common Core. We've stayed with the one that was working the whole time.
One of your heroes in life, stand-up comedian Nate Bargatze, he did a whole little bit about his daughter and helping her with her homework when she brought home the new math. This is Nate Bargatze.
If you don't know Common Core math, it's just basically a long way to get to the same answer. And even when you break it down, you see old math sneak in there. I mean, you're like, that was old math right there. Just do that at the beginning. I told my wife, it's a long way to get to the same thing. It would be if you came to my house and you knocked on the front door and you're like, can I come in? And I was like, could you walk around and come in through the back door? And you would be like, does the front door not work? And it's like, it works. It works fine. I use it. Most people still use it. But the new way is to go jump the fence, come in the back, and then meet me back here.
It does feel like they took something that wasn't broken, fixed it, and now parents, it's your problem. Welcome to new math. The thing about the trauma for parents that have had to teach their kids new math, it's almost that old emotional scar. It can rear its ugly head. You've launched your kids from the nest, and then here comes retirement planning to slap you in the face with all of the strategies that are required of it. You get those, I have to learn this new math feeling all over again with all that's involved with retirement planning. Is that not an accurate analogy?
The rules have changed. Life has evolved. Inflation is real. Social Security has funding issues. Those all factor in, and those are all the things we get the headlines about. But how does it affect me and my life here in Grand Rapids? How does it affect me on the west side of the state as I'm living this life out? That's what I need to know. And you're being given these equations. Do I do the rule of 4%? Has the 60-40 portfolio died? Do I buy an annuity? Do I not? They're giving you all these variables and saying, you figure it out. At some point in life, you say, I didn't sign up to be a financial advisor. I'm just a person living my life. Mm-hmm. That is what needs to get fixed. That's what people want help with. If that's you and you say, I'm sick of being told all this different stuff and I want to, give us a call and we will help you sift through the noise and find the real signals that matter to your life. Give us a call, 616-512-2127, or you can get to us at michigansretirementcoach.com. Again, 616-512-2127. But I'll tell you this, some things have changed. Social Security, how you can claim it, that changed in 2015. They changed the way you can take Social Security. Required minimum distributions, that has changed, and it's changing again. The amount you have to take, the age at which you have to take it, It went from 70.5 to 72 to 73, and now it's going to 75 in a few years. And also, what happens if I'm still working when they make me take it? Do I still have to take it? Taxes, how much I pay in taxes, these are things that people want to know. And the big hot topic this whole year and into last year was, are they going to tax my Social Security? That's the question, right?
Yep.
And then the one big, beautiful bill gets passed in July, and everybody says, good, so now there's no tax on Social Security? Nope, that's not accurate. There's an additional credit given to seniors that, by the math, says that most seniors will not pay taxes on their Social Security. However, a lot still will. So do you qualify for tax on Social Security, or is the credit enough to cover you? That's something to figure out. Inflation, longevity. And the problem is when you call your big box firm, when you call your financial industry expert at whatever 800 number you call, and this call center advisor does not have time to walk you through all the moving parts. They give you generic advice and not tailored solutions. They'll say, well, Social Security grows by 8% every year. You let it go. So you may want to consider that. That's not an answer. That's just reading a stat off the Social Security website. That's not advice. The big box 800 numbers cannot give you advice. The difference is when you work with someone local who gets it, who understands it. Also, I don't want advice for New York or California. I want Michigan advice.
Right.
So those things matter.
Right.
I want a holistic approach. When we do the math, it's not just when do I take Social Security. It's let's look at my pension, Social Security, how much income I need, my taxes, my investments, my estate planning, charitable giving, all these other areas that matter. And then how do I take tax smart withdrawals? I just sat with someone, and as we went through, she's retired and she's wanted to buy a condo for the last 10 years.
Yeah.
She's wanted to get out of her old house that is starting to really cost her money to repair.
Okay.
She'd like a new kitchen. She wants a kitchen that she can live in now, not the one that was built 50 years ago.
Right.
But the cost of redoing a kitchen, she might as well put a down payment on a new condo.
Right.
And so that's what she said. For 10 years, I've wanted to do it. And she has this pot of money that she's been saving and investing over the last 50 years or so. And nobody has given her proper advice on what to do with it. All she's being told is, well, this is taxable money when you take it out. So it's going to cost you too much.
Because it's like money she invested in the market?
Yeah.
Okay.
Not in an IRA. It's stock she bought, and she's just been letting it roll.
Okay.
But every time she goes to find out if she can afford a condo, the realtor says buy a condo. The CPA says don't pay taxes. And the financial advisor says, I like the fund you're in. Nobody can tell her if it's a financially appropriate decision to sell her home and buy a condo. And then if she does buy it, do I pay cash or do I finance it? So we went through, and as we went through, mapped out our software, we said, first, what do you want life to look like? And how much is that going to cost? Well, if I get this condo, here's the condo fees. Here's the HOA. Here's the increase in taxes. Get it. Let's get all those things factored in. Then we figured out how much does it cost to finance? How much does it cost to purchase? All the things that we all know we have to decide on when we buy something like this. But over the course of 3 conversations, 1 where she told us everything we needed to know, 2 where we explained to her what we found, and 3 where we dialed in from talking points to actual recommendations and advice.
Yeah.
By the end of our 3rd conversation and strategy session, she walked out saying, I'm going to go list my house and it's time to go buy that condo.
That's so exciting.
And for her, and there was a very emotional moment in the middle of it.
Sure.
We're towards the end of our 2nd meeting. And she said, this is the first time I felt like there is hope that this is going to not just be a pipe dream. She goes, it's not a fun place to be. And now this is someone who has been a single mom for many years. And then now her kids are grown and she's by herself without someone to talk to. And she said, there's no worse feeling than having a dream, but not having any hope to get to it. And after our 2nd meeting, she said, there's hope. We're still not quite there yet, but at least I feel like we're getting there. Then at the end of the 3rd meeting, she said, not only is there hope, there's strategy, there's a plan, and there's a way to it. So now she's saying, hey, do you know anybody who can help me declutter this 50-year-old home that I've been living in so I can move into my condo, which is a much more fun place to be.
Let me give you Heather Branch's phone number. She loves organizing on the side.
I was like, I got some people. My sister-in-law is brilliant at it too. I'm like, she's got a big old trash can. She can throw away a bunch of stuff for you. But what a life to live. Think about the 2 ways people live. I can't because I don't know, or I can because I know. That's the difference in independent planning, personalized planning that is for you and your family. versus some big box firm that says, take out 4% and you should be okay. At the end of the day, retirement planning can feel complicated on paper, but it needs to be simple in real life. Don't let retirement math overwhelm you. With the right plan, you can stop stressing about the numbers and start living the life you've worked so hard to earn. If you would like this conversation to walk through those strategy sessions and planning, give us a call, 616-512-2127. You and I will speak, and we have a team of people who are waiting to talk to you just to get you set up for a time. And that first meeting is you and I talking on the phone for about 30 minutes, just hearing your dreams in life. And then we start talking about strategy. So from there, that's what we do. Give us a call, 616-512-2127.
We've opened up 5 spots on the calendar just for radio listeners today. So be one of the first 5 callers right now. Reserve a time for your initial no fee, no obligation, 30-minute phone call. Just you and Mike talking some things through about your questions, your concerns, and then he can give you some ideas on how he and his team might be able to help. Again, it's 616-512-2127, 616-512-2127, or find us at michigansretirementcoach.com. It is the weekend, and perhaps you're out. Just got to run a few errands and
knock some stuff out.
I'm just gonna swing my target real quick. You guys just stay in the car. Actually, have your family stay in the car might be the best move against the target effect.
I do it all the time. I say, you guys don't want to come in here to get like 2 things, do you? You want to stay in the car? And Kimberly and the kids will be, yeah, absolutely. All right, great. I'll be right back, guys.
Motivates you to get out, and 2, doesn't let them go in and get sucked into what is actually a real thing. It has a name. The target effect is real, and we have all felt it. Maybe it didn't happen to you at Target. Maybe it's another store.
Costco's mine.
You go into the store. You just need to grab some toothpaste. 1 hour and $200 later, you walk out with a cart filled with snacks, maybe a throw pillow. Don't forget that Bluetooth speaker that you never knew you needed until you found out it existed. The target effect is how the store itself strategically builds their layout in effort to steer you towards making extra purchases. But Mike, there are ways for us to avoid overspending. However, when it comes to the other strategies that the world has developed in effort to get to our money, the one that none of us can avoid is Uncle Sam's effect. And the strategies he has got in place to make us pay our taxes, which we all have to do. We all got to pay our fair share. But in retirement, there are strategies we ourselves can implement to avoid overpaying. So how do you help folks figure that out?
Yeah, tax code is a lot like the Target effect. I mean, Target set the stores up. Costco, again, we always joke about Costco. I'm like, we spend $400 and we still don't have anything to make for dinner. It's brutal. And it's designed to send you at very key times to certain places, right? The stuff and the checkout lane is not in the regular aisles because it's impulse buy. The U.S. tax system is set up to collect taxes all throughout your life, with different type of taxes all throughout, especially in retirement. The thing that always drives us crazy, like as a family, we talk about how many times our dollars get taxed. You know, you go earn it, you pay income tax. You go buy stuff, you pay sales tax. And then you buy stuff for your home and you put it in your home, and your home has a property tax. And then you want to go do an addition on your house and you have to pay a land use permit tax and all these different things.
Yep.
It's insane. And especially in retirement, there's a lot of retirees that walk right into tax traps without even realizing it, because they're told once they retire, they're going to be in a lower tax bracket, right? Like that's the plan. Mm-hmm. That's the myth. What we see over and over again is people in retirement who actually end up in higher brackets than they were while they were working, strictly because the stuff they planned on living off of has special taxes built for it.
Right.
They typically come in and say, I'll have my Social Security and RMDs and maybe a pension, and RMDs, those required minimum distributions. I'll have those. And then they start tapping into their retirement accounts to live off of, or to travel off of, or to build off of. When all that income stacks up, so do the taxes. Just like the $200 Target run, you don't even see them coming, and you get hit with them and you're stuck with them. I'd like to be able to say I have like, well, there's this one isolated incident where a retiree didn't understand how taxes work. But basically everybody I ever talked to, even those who have researched it and start to get a grasp on it, they keep coming in and saying, man, it's just really complicated. And I don't understand why this counts or this doesn't count. I have a client, Rick. He's from Ada. He came to us after being retired for a few years. And when he retired with $1.2 million in his 401k.
Okay.
Right. He was excited to start traveling. In his second year of retirement, he got hit with a massive tax bill. He triggered higher Medicare premiums because of his income. He pushed his Social Security into a place where 85% of it was being taxed. He even triggered capital gains tax on some real estate income.
Is this because when he was withdrawing from his 401k?
Yeah, because nobody told him how to strategically draw down assets.
Okay.
Like when you pull from here, when you pull from there, the distribution of your assets is critically important.
Because were all of his savings essentially, there was some cash, whatever, but the majority of his savings were in his never been taxed 401k. So he starts withdrawing from that. Okay.
Yeah, he had other options though.
Okay.
He had other sources he could have pulled from, but nobody gave him advice. He said, my frustration comes in the fact that I have a CPA, I have a financial advisor, and I have a estate planning attorney.
Yeah.
They all work with me. They don't work with each other. And nobody gave me the heads up of this cross taxation, that my income would be taxed heavier because of my withdrawal for my travel, that my rental income was going to be subject to different levels of taxes that I didn't plan on. Mm-hmm. That was a frustration. He comes in, and so he's pretty livid when we first met with him because he says, I'm getting crushed, and I was told I'd be in a lower tax bracket. With some simple tax planning, we repositioned some of his assets, did some Roth conversions while taxes were lower, and we're able to cut his future tax bills by tens of thousands of dollars through conversation and simple planning. We ended up with more complex planning for him, but I said, if nothing else, Rick, we got to make sure you don't get stuck in this position again. And that started with the phone call. That started with him reaching out to us and saying, hey, can someone explain retirement taxes to me in a way that makes sense? If you're like Rick and you say, I would love to understand, I don't want to be a CPA, I don't want to be a tax nerd, but I'd like to know how and why they're hitting me, and I don't want to get hit coming and going. Mm-hmm. Give us a call, and I'll talk to you about it. 616-512-2127. Let's understand how taxes work and not overpay. Right. So give me a call. We'll set up a time to talk about it. But you have to break down, there's a few areas that you need to know. Your required distributions, when you have to start taking them. Age 73, you have to start taking money out of your accounts. Social Security, if you're at certain levels of income, they will tax it or not tax it. And the way that they choose is depending on how much you pull from required distributions or other sources. If you understand how your RMDs will be taxed, how your Social Security will be taxed, what the levels and thresholds are for your Medicare premiums to be taxed, because there's a certain point where all of a sudden they jump your Medicare premiums. And then lastly, your capital gains. If you get rental income, if you sell a property or a business or even stocks unexpectedly, if I sell that, will it trigger more Medicare premiums? Yeah, it absolutely could. So that's tax planning. But unfortunately, people think of taxes in terms of a tax preparation,
April
not
15th,
tax planning.
April 15th. That's what everybody thinks about.
Yeah, let's just get it done before. That's not how it should be done. Mm-hmm. You need a tax roadmap in retirement that tells us exactly how much you're going to pay for the next 20, 30 years and how to minimize that. Again, if Rick had taken money from some of his other accounts, he wouldn't have triggered all that taxation.
Okay.
But the only advice he was given was, well, the biggest chunk of your money is in this 401k. You might as well take it from there. Might as well was the advice. That doesn't hold up in court, I don't think. I don't think you say might as well as a legal or strategic financial term.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
But it just goes back to what we always talk about. The financial industry was saying, earn more money, take as little as you can, and they don't know what they're doing when it comes to taxes. So having that conversation could really change it. The difference between a retirement plan that's efficient and one that just feels expensive, it's about planning your taxes. Not being Rick, who's frustrated with all the extra taxes he paid. If you're listening and wondering, am I overpaying Uncle Sam? Am I in the hole with them? You want a retirement tax review? Give me a call. We'll talk through it. Make sure you're set up the right way. MichigansRetirementCoach.com or give me a call at 616-512-2127.
And again, the number to dial, 616-512-2127. 888-866-2127 to set a time on the calendar for that initial 30-minute, no fee, no obligation phone call with Mike. If you're within 5 to 10 years of retirement, if you've saved $500,000 or more, this is where you're really going to see the power of this kind of planning that Mike and his team do really take effect. 616-512-2127 is that number you're dialing. You can also find us michigansretirementcoach.com or call us right now. Reserve one of these 5 spots for yourself at 616-512-2127. So obviously, Mike, you have a podcast. In the world of podcasting, there's a lot to consume. I had not heard of this one. Dr. Shoshana Ungerleider is a very interesting person. She's an internal medicine doctor, but what she found early on in her career was the need for medical care for folks that are in end stages of life. They are late in life. They are only going to have a few more years left in this world. She actually hosts a podcast now. It's called Before We Go. And so she was recently asked in an interview about top regrets that people express at the end of their lives. And the ones that she said she hears the most often, again, this is a doctor who treats people who are end of life. What she hears them express is that 1, I didn't spend enough time with the people I love. 2, I worked too much and missed out on life. And 3, I focused too much on the future and lost touch with the present. And nowhere on this list is somebody going, I'd really wish I had just beaten the market by 1 more %. Nobody wants that in the end, Mike.
Yes.
As a retirement planner, you're helping folks in the second phase of life, and you have clients that get to end phases of life. So when you look at a list like this, how does it put in perspective the work that you do as a retirement planner?
Well, I think it's really important to come back to that whole idea of what life we're trying to build. Mm-hmm. Right? We talk about it all the time, but your life does not boil down to a spreadsheet. Right. Ironically, when we do a will and trust and we help people, kind of put the bow on their life with their will and trust and we list the assets, it gets really introspective when you look down the list and say, here's what I have and here's what I own, mm-hmm. but it's not my whole story. Mm-hmm. And yet, as we look at this and we talk about all the time, people remember the memories, right? They remember the things they could have or should have done, and they remember the things they did. They don't think about, like she says, the 1% return that we missed out on. Real retirement planning is maximizing meaning, time, and freedom. I've got a life that I want to live. I have people I want to do it with, and I have things I want to accomplish. How do I do that?
Yeah.
Make my money do that.
Yeah.
But yet too often we get caught up into this rat race of what's the market doing? How does that affect me? And I do want to do well in the market.
That's what we're marketed though, Mike. You don't hear commercials. All the commercials are how much have you saved and how are you investing and all these things. Nobody's saying, hey, when you think about your savings plan, how is it going to make sure that you live you're here on the radio talking about all the time. But as a person who, is in the throes of my career as a saver, I want to do well. Nobody is saying to me, hey, are you happy? Are you living the life you want to live? Because, and another thing you always point out, because that's not what makes financial service industry money.
No. And what's funny is depending on where you get your information.
Yeah.
Right. So if you watch the sales commercials for the big box, it's this guy sitting across from you at a desk, mm-hmm. explaining your options and all that. Right. And mm-hmm. they're in some like really, really modern, pristine office doing all that stuff. And then you read the articles from the same companies, and those same companies will come out telling you, hey, you actually now need $2 million to retire. Mm-hmm. You need this, you need that. So the sales visual commercial is very pleasing and aesthetic. But then when you read the content they put out, it's all the negativity about how you need to save more to live. And none of it is the reality, right? So what you have to understand is that they are beholden to shareholders. Mm-hmm. They are beholden to their company, not to their client, mm-hmm. right? When you have millions of customers, right? If Mike and Heather aren't happy and we leave their services, they say, who cares? We mm-hmm. still have 1 million customers. Mm-hmm. But when you work with someone who sits across from you at a table, who's local, who gets it, and they live and breathe your retirement with you, it makes a big difference than being an account number.
Yeah.
Calling an 800 number.
Yeah.
The success for a big box firm is about quarterly returns, mm-hmm. because they can hang their hat on that. And that's a quantifiable thing that they like. Because we can go back to shareholders and say, we did this for our clients, therefore we raised our assets under management to this level, and therefore our company is valued at a higher number, and shareholders get this return. Your success is whether you get to travel with your spouse and go to the places on your bucket list, go to your grandkids' games, spend your healthiest years living and not waiting. Wall Street isn't asking, what do you want retirement to feel like? Not what you want to feel like. Mm-hmm. They want to show you a chart, and the chart is more money in your accounts, which sounds good, except for more money in your accounts means you're not spending it.
Yep.
If you die with more money than you ever lived with, you did it wrong. We should be living in this money and accomplishing things. Retirement is the fulfillment of dreams, not just the accumulation of numbers. Yeah. The number one regrets: I let fear control my decisions, and I wish I'd been braver in the face of opportunity. Not opportunity to earn more, but the opportunity to do more.
Yeah.
We'll never regret being a generous person. We will never regret spending time on that vacation doing the things we're supposed to do.
Yeah.
This is what it's supposed to look like. These are the conversations you should be having. We want to hear your story. We want to see what you want life to look like. Give us a call, 616-512-2127, and we will help you. I just sat with someone in the past week, and as we went through her plan, she's done a really good job. She retired at 51, a divorced single mom with 3 kids, trying to put kids through school. She worked like a dog, retired, and then went to everything they did. And she's one of 11 children.
Wow.
She's just done everything possible to save and scrimp because that's all she's known.
Right.
And as we went through her plan, it really shook her to see that she should have been spending money because now she's in her 70s. Remember, she retired at 51.
Mm-hmm.
She's in her 70s. Her kids are now grown and out of the house. And as I'm telling her, hey, what do you want retirement to feel like? That's a question she had never been asked.
Mm-hmm.
So then she comes in and we go through and she just tells me her story, and she's very strong. You have to be strong to raise these 3 kids, to still retire at 51, to live a life. She's very strong. And we went through and I said, what do you want it to feel like? Well, you know, I'd like to travel. I'd like to this, you know, but everything had a but tied to it.
Mm-hmm.
And I finally said, it seems like you're a saver. She goes, yeah, I'm a saver. I've been a saver. And I said, why? Why are you still a saver? And she sat quietly and didn't have an answer. And after a few moments, she starts to cry and gets very upset with me now for making her cry. And because she's strong.
Uh-huh.
And I said, what's going on? And she said, I'm one of 11 kids. My oldest 2 siblings died young. My dad worked 3 jobs. He was the fun one.
Mm-hmm.
And so we didn't get to see the fun one a lot because he was always working.
Yeah.
My mom ran a very disciplined, structured house.
With 11 children. She had to.
Had to. And our whole lives has been survival.
Yeah.
I guess I still feel like I'm in survival mode. And I don't know why. So when I sat across and I said, we need to go from surviving to thriving.
Yeah.
You're 71. How much longer do you have to take these trips? We will get to a point in life where you won't take them anymore. This is your money. And this is when we start seeing the difference between a retirement account and a retirement plan. She was with a big box firm, and she could not get anyone to give her peace to take a trip, to make decisions, to buy the condo she's been wanting to get out of the deteriorating house she's in, because no one could walk her through the steps of how to do it.
Yeah.
We went through, and in 2 meetings, we were able to hear her story and show her proof that her life she wanted to live was there. She just had to take the step. If that's the thing you're looking for, peace of mind, confidence, and the ability to live the life you want, give us a call, 616-512-2127. Your peace, your life you want to live can be right on the other end of a couple meetings with a real financial planner.
Thanks for listening to Michigan's Retirement Coach with Mike Douglas. To learn more, visit michigansretirementcoach.com.
Michael Douglas is an investment advisor representative of Stewards Wealth Planning, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Financial professionals are not licensed in all 50 states. To find out if Michael Douglas is licensed in your state, please call 517-323-7526. Stewards Wealth Planning, LLC is not affiliated with nor endorsed by the Social Security Administration or any other government agency and does not provide legal or tax advice. Annuity guarantees rely solely on the financial strength and claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company. By contacting us, you may be provided with information about insurance and annuity products offered through Michael B. Douglas, NPN number 9650939.